what's going on? So I just woke up. I open up the window. The cold air comes in, and then I think to myself, it's cold outside. But then I think it's funny because usually, I could just look down at my phone and see the temperature right there. I don't need to open a window or open a door to find out what the temperature is outside. And that just got me thinking, so many things are just constantly available to us right in the palm of our hands. And it's like these devices never leave our side. It's almost like we're already cyborgs. Now, a cyborg is a human merged with a machine. Now, in order to truly be a cyborg, you have to be part machine, part human. But, I mean, the machines are constantly with us, right? I mean, we sleep with them. We wake up, it's the first thing we check. Everywhere we go, they're constantly with us. They have us connected, constantly connected to the internet. We constantly upload everything about us to them. All our purchase history, everything we buy off the internet. Our email, our personal communications, all our text messages. Excuse me. We're constantly connected to a global positioning satellite system, GPS. And people tell me, oh, you could turn that off. You don't have to be constantly tracked. All right, well, I did try to turn it off. I turned off my location services. I was about 50 miles from home. I needed to find a certain type of business, so I Googled the business. I said nearest or something business near me. The first thing it said was like a disclaimer. It said, to get better results, enable location services. So I'm thinking it's not going to show one near me, right? Wrong. It still showed one within a couple miles of me. Even though I'm 50 miles from home, so you can't say, oh, it's just showing you where you usually be. I was 50 miles from home. It still showed me one right down the street. Now, you could probably give me a good explanation for that. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But here's the point. Are we already cyborgs because the phones are constantly next to us? Well, no, not really, but almost, right? But wait a minute. Hold on. I always thought, of course, the next step is going to be they're going to try to get us to put some type of microchip in us so they can have complete control over us to truly make us cyborgs. I knew I wasn't going to ever take that. I would never allow that. I would never go for that. But I knew a lot of people would. A lot of people say, okay, it's the latest technology. They'd probably pay for it. They'd pay $1,000, $2,500 for something so that could be connected to their mind and they would just think the thoughts and find the things they wanted. What's the difference between where we're at now and being a complete cyborg? Well, why won't we? Why wouldn't I be willing to accept that? Well, because once this computer chip is inside you, you have no privacy. It knows everything. It knows your thoughts. You are no longer an independent human with sovereignty over yourself. You're controlled. You're owned. But look, it turns out they skipped over that step. They skipped over the step of having to figure out how they're going to get us to accept the chip. Because now they have the technology where they can read our thoughts without having to put the chip inside us. We're just having the phone next to us all the time. Now, if you missed my last video, I go into a lot more detail about this. So Facebook has admitted they have the technology, or they were working on this technology 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were working on technology to be able to read our thoughts, to be able to take our thoughts inside of our head and turn them into words on a computer. Now, in my last video, I go into detail about how this isn't something that they're just working on. This is something that they're actually already using without our permission. And I give examples of things that have been happening to me and of other people out there that after I started looking into this, I've seen on the internet people reporting this all over the place. Now, I'm not going to go into as long of discussion about exactly what happened to me because I did that in the last video. But quickly, if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to just say the first thing that happened, and now you might say, oh, this isn't that much evidence. Like I said in the last video, bear with me because they get crazier as they go. The first one was I had some pistachios. For the first time I ate pistachios in years, the first time I had pistachios. And I probably never bought pistachios in my life. But my mother gave me some pistachios for on my birthday. And a couple, and she didn't, when she gave it to me, you say, oh, the microphone could have picked up on it. She goes, here, happy birthday, some pistachios. She didn't say the word pistachios. They were in a bag with other things. She just gave me the bag. And inside that bag, there was a bag of pistachios. I never said, oh, wow, pistachios. I never said anything about I got pistachios while I was in the house. It was not something that was ever said, and I definitely never Googled pistachios. One night, I pulled the pistachios out the bag. I started eating them. I throw away the shells. I go to bed. I get up in the morning. The very next thing I see is an ad for pistachios. Now, you might say, that's not that big of a thing. A lot of people probably see ads for pistachios. Ads are tailored to the things we look at, to the things we search, to the things we purchase. Pistachios is never on my radar. But okay, like I said, the first one was a minor one. The next one was also one that you could try to brush off, but it's just building the case. I was thinking about where I could go to have a beer. I wanted to go out and have some drinks with my boys. I was trying to think where would they have a decent selection of beers and maybe have some happy hour specials going on. Then, even though I haven't been there in a long time, I thought, well, what about maybe Buffalo Wild Wings, right? They probably should have some happy hour specials and a good selection on beers. That thought crossed my mind. I was thinking maybe I'll go there. I didn't go. I just thought about it. Then I get onto my phone. The very next ad I see, Buffalo Wild Wings $5 pitchers. Okay. You can say, well, you're a 41-year-old man. Maybe you're their target audience. Okay. But I've never seen ads for any Buffalo Wild Wings. And then for it to be the happy hour specials one, that's what I was just thinking. But okay, I'm with you. The last one, though. I was watching a movie with my daughter. There was a cat in the movie. This was a thriller. The movie was a thriller. It was the movie The Mummy. They briefly showed a cat. It made me think about cats and their relation to maybe the occult or the spiritual realm and stuff like that. And I'm thinking this stuff in my head. I'm watching a movie with my daughter. I'm not talking. And that brought me back. I was like, wait, remember that movie when you were young? I was like 14 years old. This was over 25 years ago. There was a movie about these people that would morph into cats and steal people's souls. Sleepwalkers was the name. Now, this is not a movie that is on anybody's radar. This is not, I haven't seen this movie for sale in any stores. I haven't seen this movie advertised. I haven't heard anyone speak about this movie in over 25 years. I haven't thought about it, and I definitely haven't searched for it or haven't spoken the word Sleepwalkers. The very next time I open up my phone, the first thing I see, an ad for this 25-plus-year-old movie. Okay. Now, the first one I brought up to my buddy who I train with. We train all the time. The thing about pistachios, and at this point, I wasn't even thinking it was reading my mind. To me, that was too far out. That didn't even cross my mind, that the phone could be reading my thoughts. I thought maybe there was like some type of RFID chip in the packaging or something, and it picked up on it. I didn't know what was going on. I was trying to figure it out. I actually tore the whole package apart in search of a little RFID chip. And I was telling this to my buddy Steve. And he was like coming up with every excuse. So, it's probably just this, probably just that. He was just trying to make it sound like it was something normal. So, needless to say, when the other crazier things started happening, I didn't even bring it up to him because I saw he wasn't receptive to this, what was going on. Then, after all the things that I mentioned to you happened, and then there was even more after that, but to me, I could finish with the Sleepwalkers. That's a nail in the coffin. But Steve comes over and trains with me on Fridays and Saturdays. It was after a Friday that we just got through training. We're leaving the house. He's walking to his car. And I don't know why, but the subject came up about the phones listening to us. And then he gave me a look, and he was like, yo, remember when you told me that thing about pistachios? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, man, it's been happening to me. Now, bear in mind, like I said, I never told him anything about I'm thinking that it's reading my thoughts or anything like that. But I look at him, I said, let me ask you this. Is it things that you've been talking about? Or is it things that you've just been thinking about? Then he looks at me. And like he was hesitant, and he said, things I've been thinking about. Now, bear in mind, this is a person who was like trying to make every excuse out there for this stuff. This isn't like a conspiracy theorist type of guy. He's like, nah, it's probably just this. It's probably just that. But then he was like, no, it's things I've been thinking about. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him about this stuff because, like I said, we were leaving the house. But then like a week later or something, me and him are talking, and he tells me about it. I don't know if this is the one that already happened to him, but this Sunday happened to him after. But he's telling me, like, yo, I woke up in the morning and I had a really stiff neck. He said, this never happens to me. I never have stiff necks. I woke up in the morning. It's the first time I had a stiff neck. So since it's the first time, I've never searched it. I never said about stiff necks, anything. I just woke up. I have a stiff neck. I'm thinking, my neck is stiff. I go onto my phone. I go onto Instagram. The first thing he said he saw an ad for some type of relief for stiff necks. Listen, it's not just me. It's not just him. I'm sure some of you out there have been searching for this. That's how you found this video. But like I said in the last video, you just search this term on the internet and you'll see it's all types of people having this happen. All type of instances of this happening to people. There was one woman who asked on Quora, can her iPhone 8 read her mind? And a lot of people commented and said this and that. But one person answered and said how she was at work and she happened to look at somebody's bracelet. Now, she didn't say anything to them about the bracelet. She didn't say anything to anyone about the bracelet. She didn't search for these bracelets. She just looked at the bracelet and thought about the bracelet. Then she started receiving ads for the bracelet. She said she also thought about buying somebody at her job some Crocs. Didn't search Crocs, didn't say Crocs. Started seeing ads for Crocs. This is just one example. Look yourself, you'll see there's plenty of examples of people having this happen to them. I shared this stuff with my daughter. I talked to my daughter about this stuff. And the other night, me and my family were going out for dinner, celebrate my wife's birthday. Usually my daughter's very talkative. She was in the back seat. She's real quiet. It's real quiet back there. So I'm like, baby, you tired? What are you doing back there? She's like, I'm just thinking. Then after a while, she goes, I'm thinking about, are people ever going to stand up? Are people ever going to stop this? Are people ever going to take a stand and stop what's coming? Then she said, are they ever going to stand up like they did before? And she was talking about the founding fathers. And then she said something about Thomas Jefferson. Are there going to be some more men like Thomas Jefferson? And the reason she said that, I'm pretty sure, is because before, a while back, years ago, I shared a quote with her from Thomas Jefferson. The one about, from time to time, the tree of liberty needs to be watered with the blood of tyrants and patriots. Listen. Thomas Jefferson understood that the natural progression of things is that people are going to try to get power over other people, that a minority of people are going to try to control the majority of people. And we always talked about it as being government. You got to stand up to the government. The government's always going to get bigger. The government's always going to try to get more power over us. And that's true. The government will always grow. People always want more power. They never want to relinquish power. But now we're at a point where it's not, the government isn't public enemy number one. It's actually the big tech companies. Because if you looked at it in the past, when the government wanted to spy on you, the FBI would do a wiretap on your phone. They would park a van outside your home and start doing surveillance. That's not how it's done anymore. Nowadays, when the government wants information on you, they contact the big tech companies. And now this is documented and this is fact. When they contacted the big tech companies and said they needed a back door to spy on people, the tech companies gave them their own office in the building. But my point is, government is going to big tech. It's big tech that we have to watch out for now. Of course, government too. We got to keep government in check. But it's big tech. It's big tech that's pushing it. It's big tech that's getting complete control. It's big tech that's actually has the technology that the government is using. And it's not just the government using it. It's big tech using this technology. That's why we're seeing all these people resign and saying, no, I can't go along with this. They're not allowed to tell us exactly what's going on because before they step down, they have to sign NDAs. Listen, man, who's out there? Who's out there? Who's going to take a stand? Who's going to do something about this? We can't rely on the government to put and check the companies that are taking control over us because the government wants more control over us. So we, as people, need to stand up for our rights. Who's going to do it? Who's with me? Who's going to stand together? Who's going to unite? I'm done with purchasing more and more tech. I'm done. I'm not going to sacrifice my humanity for convenience and for the ability to get more knowledge and to have constant entertainment. It's not worth it. I'll go back to the way things were when I was young. But it's not enough for me just to make that decision. We need to stand together to unite and make the decision that we need to put a stop to this.